Hi everyone, welcome to Startup Vision TV, where we talk about startups shaping the future. If you want to hear more stories about startups, click on the button below, subscribe to the channel.
Hello Startup Vision, this is Mohamed. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Storefront. We are the Airbnb of retail, and our mission is to make retail accessible through technology.
Today we have Mohamed from Storefront, and Storefront is a great success. You won the Startup Tour of 2018, Startup Tour organized by the French founders and BNP Paribas, so congratulations. And in an economy where the brick and mortar retail goes down and the digital retail goes up, why do brands need you?
First, when we launched the company, we had this vision of creating an Airbnb type model for commercial real estate. And the idea wasn't very popular because back in the day, the vacancy rate wasn't that high. But the vision of Storefront was to align the retail cycle that is going shorter and shorter with the real estate cycle that is long by nature. And when we processed the idea, we felt that there will be a need in the future for e-commerce players to find and book a retail space as easily as a booking of hotel room. We want to create liquidity of a non-liquid asset class.
Yes, it's true. It was very difficult to find any stores, for a short-term period, especially in Europe, for example. It was not really developed. So you're very successful. What are the keys for success? Are accelerators a plus, for example, and how do you scale up?
First, let's call it success. I'm a young entrepreneur trying to build the foundation of a great startup. I don't call myself or my company successful yet, but we are hopefully on our way. And every day as an entrepreneur is a lesson of, in French we said, humility. But in order to build the right company, you need to first find the right model, the right product, the right market, and more importantly, you need to have the right team. And the biggest challenge in 2019 is to fight for talents, attract them, keep them, and this is something today that is super challenging when you fight against the Amazon, Facebook, and Google of this world.
Yeah, that's true. So what is the process, if any, to make an idea a reality when everybody tells you there's no market for that?
I'm an ex-Wall Street guy, and what I learned back in the day is that when everybody is telling you that it's a bad timing to invest in the market, you go long and you buy the market. And this is the same thing about startup. When I read about Airbnb, which is the biggest source of inspiration for my company, I did not believe that Airbnb will be a success story. So first I learned about my own limitations and my own ability to see or not see opportunities. And this is the same thing that applies to Storefront. When people told us that it will be, and it is a bad idea, there was always some kind of hidden agenda. If you speak to real estate players, they will tell you normally that this is not a great idea because at the end of the day, their business model is historically a model of long-term lease. And the disruptive element of Storefront is obviously send the signal to retailers and brands that they can find a space for one day, a few hours. And this is something that is almost a revolution in the retail world,
Yeah, and we're talking about accelerators and how do you scale up. So are accelerators a plus to develop a business?
Absolutely. In my case, it was a game changer. I went through 2 programs instead of 1. The first one was in Paris. It's called NUMA, N-U-M-A. It's an amazing program full of amazing mentors, and they help define my vision, my mission statement, and more importantly, they also connected me with the VC world. Then from Numa, I had the opportunity, and this is something that I feel so privileged. I had the opportunity of moving back to New York because I had started a career here, moved back to France as an entrepreneur, and more or less this accelerator program called Techstars in New York allowed me to move back in early 2016. And I will invite every entrepreneur to start applying to Techstars, Numa, because these programs can be game changers for you.
Okay, and how do you scale up? for a company like you?
First, it comes down to discipline. You cannot change your business model in the middle unless you feel that you're not on your way to success. So therefore, it requires discipline. It requires also a strong financial discipline. You cannot spend the money that you don't have. Then, and most importantly, I repeat myself, it comes down to people. You cannot scale without people's foundation. So you need to hire the right people who share the same vision, who are animated by the same kind of mission statement. And when you have this combination of product, market fit, and people, sky is the limit. But it requires many years of mistakes, test and fail.
So we talked about it a little bit. Your previous career was in finance, then you're running a successful startup. So do you think that today startups have enough exposure or access to financing?
I have the luxury of living in between two places because I spend a lot of time in France and a lot of time in the US. I will tell you that in a good or bad market environment, there will be always access to financing when you have the right model. But the most important thing is that given the current macro environment, the stress around WeWork and Uber IPOs, it's going to be harder and harder to raise money if you don't have traction, momentum, and KPIs that show that your model is a viable model from a financial point of view.
So what's next for you now for Storefront?
What about just delivering on the promises that we made to our existing investor? We need to accelerate, we need to hire more people, and hopefully there will be a strong and positive news flow in the future about the company.
Thank you very much, Mohamed.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And don't forget, subscribe to Startup Vision, like, share, and we welcome your comments. Bye-bye.
Thank you.